Hmm. Okay. Interesting. This is different for me, guys. This is different for me. I'm back from the dead, obviously, and I've got to be on YouTube. This is different. Different. Um, but I'm doing this on my own page on YouTube. This is not a far from normal issue. This is a J Moss issue, and while it does concern the Far From Normal radio show, it also concerns me more than it does the show right now. However, much of what this entails will be the show. So I'm going to give it to you from the horse's mouth themselves. Okay. Back 2 years ago, when we started the Far From Normal radio show, we started it on a whim, basically. And we started it, Bud and I started doing blog talk radio. And that blog talk radio format was the Future of Our Children's Radio Network. That is owned by Neil Shelton, Randy Davis, and Cheyenne Davis. Okay. Always has, always will be. So, with that being said, we were approached by Ted Fogg in order to do our video segments because we were interested in it. We wanted to see if we could do that aspect. It was probably creative. We were going to get more viewers. Let's give it an opportunity. So we tried to talk to Ted about doing that, maybe learning it ourselves and doing it ourselves. And it just really wasn't going to be possible for us to do blog talk on a computer and also do live video broadcasts on the same computer at the same time. So we talked to Ted, and Ted obviously offered his services to be a part of the Far From Normal radio show as an outside contractor. Ted was never a part of the Far From Normal radio show. He was always an outside contractor. That being said, what it is, it was all due to a logo. This logo is the marquee logo. That marquee logo actually is the Normal Theater in Uptown Normal, Illinois. We have express written permission from the historic district. We have express written consent from the owner of the theater in Uptown Normal. We also have worked with Ted, and yes, Ted did do some adaptations to that. However, immediately after he did his adaptations to the sign, we also changed that. And when he left the program as an outside contractor, it was changed and adapted yet again and again and again and again, and always has been. And we also took the photograph that we had done right after Ted and right before Ted, both, and sent 2 letters to 2 different places, got the letters back. They both have date stamps. I have them sitting right here on my desk. Those letters basically is what entails of a cheap man's copyright. So also, during that time when Ted Fogg was doing our broadcasts, we were also doing the broadcasts on the Future of Our Children Radio's network. So understand that it was going 2 places all the time anyways. And we had already had our agreement with Neil Shelton, Randy Davis, that they would retain the rights to the Far From Normal radio show and also relinquish those rights back to us. So we still would be in retaining of the ownership of the program. However, they also would help protect us and our program. So if you go out to Google and you look for that marquee sign for the Far From Normal radio show, you click on it, there's a link on it that actually shows that it goes directly to the Blog Talk for the Future of Our Children's Radio Network. So that's another form of copyright. So not only do we own those rights, but also the Future of Our Children Radio Network owns those rights as well to protect us. So this was done in an effort to protect all of our services and what we do and how we come on and protect the copyright of what we're doing. That's why we come on each and every single week and we say the Far From Normal Radio Show is copywritten and express written consent is needed by the host, staff, and the board of directors in order to record, rebroadcast, transcribe any of the broadcasts. You need that express written consent. And we haven't relinquished that to anyone as of yet, except for the Future of Our Children's Radio Network. That's the only ones we have given that permission to. So that's the full details of why I have been banned on Facebook for 3 days. So with that being said, it is what it is. And I'm not hurt. I'm not slighted. I am a little peeved. I am a little angry. I am a little upset because this is owned by us. And Facebook had no business judging us like family courts judge you when you go to court. Without any proof, without any evidence, they banned me for 3 days. And they took down our broadcast that we own the rights to. Now, you can still see that here on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel, which is the Far From Normal Radio Show at YouTube, you can definitely see those. I'm getting a lot of messages, and I'll have to get back to them very, very shortly here, but I want to make sure I get this completed for you. Now, this has all come about because of a certain individual who had a problem with another individual in this movement that we had nothing to do with. And it's come out several different times in several different ways. And here's the issues that I run across being an advocate is suicide prevention. Suicide prevention is a big thing in this movement because we have so many people that are going through it each and every single day. And it's funny how some people tout other people and, oh, they're this great big expert and they're fantastic and they can do all of this stuff and they're my lawyer. But who do they come and they call when they need suicide prevention? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes 5, sometimes 2. All hours of the night. And I do this because I care about people and I love people and I know what they're going through. Also because I'm trained being a chaplain's assistant in order to do this type of counseling and prevention. I carry right here by my side all the time a booklet. That's a quick study guide for suicide prevention, has all of the phone numbers, has keywords to look for, all the different things that you can kind of look for, clues to suicide, all of the different things that you're really going to look for, 10 steps to safety, all of these things. I carry this with me all the time just in case I get a phone call like that. And I'm not saying this to tout myself in any way, shape, or form, but I want you to understand these people kicking me off of Facebook doesn't hurt me. It hurts the people that probably could be reaching out to me who can't now because I'm not on Facebook. I can't stress enough how hard that is for me because this could be 5 people. This could be 10 people that really need to be talked out of suicide. In the last 3 weeks, I've had 6 call me, 6 on the ledge of suicide. One of them actually had a gun to their head. And that was mainly in part of one particular so-called advocate who has no advocate background whatsoever, who has taken people's money, offered to get them an attorney, and the attorney never shows up to their case. Now, again, I'm not out here talking bad about people. That's not what I do. But you do deserve to know the truth. It is what it is. And again, I haven't said a name. You can figure out who those people are already. I don't have to do that for you. And I'm not going to give those people any free press or anything like that. Now, another show that we were once aligned with, also, they aligned themselves with this particular individual because they were promised this, that, and the other. The other thing about those particular people, you're going to see much more truth that are going to come about those particular people that I had no idea about, but I'm learning. And I'm not very happy with the situation. Sometimes I try and judge people by character rather than looking at their background because I feel they've been in this movement for a long time. Surely they should be reputable, right? Not so much. And it is what it is. Honestly, I admit that fault in myself for not doing the research and homework that I probably should have done on each and every particular individual so in depth that I would find these things. But honestly, these things take hours and hours and hours. And you're hoping that these people, since they've been around for a while, that they are reputable. I'm finding out that's not the truth. I had a once really, really wise mentor of mine when I first came into the movement told me 50% of this movement does not deserve their kids back. You will look at their case, you will see that they have done something wrong or they've portrayed themselves in a manner to everyone else in this movement that they're not actually. There's something completely different. And that's understandable now after being in this long. He also said 30% of the people that are in this movement are overly emotional. Overly emotional. I see that a lot too. And I try and reach those people because I think if we could get them off of being overly emotional and focused, we could really help them and get them along and help them possibly win their kids back. And I don't say that all the time because I cannot make a promise to you. A lot of people will try and promise you the world. I can do this and I can do that. But you never know how a judge is going to react until you're in that courtroom hearing those particular things. The other thing is I cannot give you legal advice. A lot of people want to come along and they want to tell you, you can do this and you can give this advice. You can give legal advice. It's no big deal. The common law says that we can practice law. I want to explain something to you very bluntly because you need to hear this. Judges in the family court system and CPS could give a shit less what you think about common law or your constitution. To them, your morning constitution is when you go to the bathroom. They could care less. What they're looking at is state statutes. They're looking at, do you come in there and you say, these are my rights, I will not have them violated. I know what my rights are. I know what I'm going to do here, and this is what needs to be followed. Yes, and then you take the state statutes, you take The Bill of Rights for your state. You take the state constitution, you take the federal constitution, you take everything. You take the UCCJEA in, you take the veterans law in. You take all of these different things in that you can take in, whatever you can take in, and you put those and you apply those to your case in different directions. Now, what we can do as advocates, we can point you in the right direction. We can kind of proofread what you write and say, yeah, maybe I wouldn't word it that way if it was me. But, this is your document. You can do what you want. But, and we're there to give friend to friend advice. We cannot give legal advice. Friend to friend advice, absolutely. But does your friend come to you and tell you, you know what, you should say exactly this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that, and you can tell that judge this, that, but yet we do that in the movement all the time, and we think that that's a legal recourse. It just does not work that way. So that being said, look, I understand there are people who gravitate towards that because you believe in a citizen's arrest day, or and we see how well that really worked, because two of the people who tried to do a citizen's arrest on judges ended up in jail because they took it literally. Some of the things that are being done with a particular group really need to be rethought. Some of the money that's being collected, you really need to take a closer look. No one should be telling you that they can hire you an attorney that you never see, never meet, never talk to about your case, and suddenly they're going to show up and fight for you. If you believe that, I have a bridge in Tennessee that I'd like to sell you. It's a good price. But you need to know. You need to know these things. So I'm going to wrap this up and just say I will be back on. I'm not depressed. I am a little angry and I'm a little perturbed that our copyright was being taken and infringed upon. However, we will be back. We will be stronger than ever. We will be looking forward to what we do every single week. And if we have to move to a different format to do it, then we will. But we will not negotiate with terrorists in this movement. I love you guys. And as we always say on the Far From Normal radio show each and every week, you are important, you are loved, and you are cared about. God bless.